Well, this is not a headline I expected to see on a research report from Morgan Stanley about Tesla, but here we are. AC greater than AI. So hot right now. Obviously talking about air conditioning versus artificial intelligence, and clearly this relates directly to Tesla. So let's read on. Investors are starting to consider the potential for Tesla to be an expression on the AI theme. So, bro, we're going to talk about this very first sentence. Welcome to years ago, Morgan Stanley. Now, in their defense, they're obviously referring to some of their clients, the kind of people who would actually be relying upon research from folks on Wall Street. So, look, we'll give them a break there and assume that the investors they're referring to are the folks who are living years in the past. But let's just pass this sentence. Investors are starting, words really matter here, starting to consider the potential for Tesla to be an expression on the AI theme, as opposed to investors have figured out Tesla is one of the world's leading AI companies. No, we're not there yet, Morgan Stanley, are we? No. Their clients are starting to consider the potential for Tesla to be an expression on the AI theme. But hey, look, making progress. Now, riddle me this. What do you think might occur if investors realize that Tesla is one of the world's, if not the world's, leading AI company? Just a bit of food for thought. But recent indicators of climate change are bringing even greater attention to Tesla's dominant position in energy storage. By the way, oh man, isn't it nice to see the truth? Tesla is in fact in a dominant position in energy storage. Oh, and electric vehicles and autonomy, and it won't be long before we can say the same about the humanoid robot, which is already showing phenomenal progress. While Tesla's stock and global temperatures get hotter, we hope you stay cool. So hot right now. I can't fucking believe this is actually real from Morgan Stanley. It's just so out of place. It's true. Tesla's stock has been hot lately, but during my run this morning, I was thinking that it's just really hot outside right now. If you are reading this somewhere where there is a heat wave or heat advisory alert that has been issued, stop and think for a moment about all that you have to do today. Now, imagine that the air conditioning went out. Whatever you thought you were going to do, you're probably not doing it anymore. Now, can fucking confirm. It wasn't that long ago, actually, maybe 6 months ago, in the middle of summer here in Sydney, in Australia, where the air conditioning in my apartment / condo, whatever you want to call it, stopped working in the middle of fucking summer. And my indoor temperatures at night never dipped below 32 degrees. That's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It was absolutely fucking horrendous. And I mean horrendous, stifling. Even with my epic bed cooler, it wasn't enough to fight the insane oven I was trapped in. And fuck, bro, is it difficult to get anything done? And I think back to when I was in my early 20s and I didn't have air conditioning and used to experience the same fucking shit. And I'm like, how did I ever exist back then? I guess I've been coddled. But this is an important point. This is how important air conditioning is to people's comfort levels and, importantly, productivity. Thankfully, I only endured about a day and a half without the air conditioning, but man, I did not want to experience that again. And I think it would have been 1,000 times worse if I didn't regularly do infrared saunas. So I'm already a bit heat adapted. The note continues. Then think about all the people in Houston that lost power following Beryl. Imagine what it must have felt like in Delhi, approximately 34 million people, when temperatures hit 126.1 degrees Fahrenheit last May. Converting that to Celsius, about 52, 53 degrees. Ridiculous. AI may be very important. Air conditioning is more important. In a hot world, AC matters more than AI. And you guys, in case you're kind of forgetting or don't know, Tesla, Elon specifically, has mentioned repeatedly in the past the idea that in the future Tesla may in fact produce a HVAC system. Now, some pithy thoughts on Tesla following our most recent bull bear lunch on Wednesday. For the first time in memory, the majority of the more than 20 client lunch attendees believe the next $50 move in the stock is higher rather than lower. Words matter, and Morgan Stanley here saying for the first time in memory. I'm not sure exactly how long they've been doing these investor lunches, but I think it's been at least 2 years. Suddenly, for the first time, the majority of their investors at the Tesla Bull Bear lunch think the stock's next move of $50 is higher rather than lower. This, of course, after Tesla stock surges roughly 75% from a recent low. If you ever needed a greater example of herd mentality, I don't think you'll find one. Stock surges nearly doubles in just a few months. Suddenly, well, it's obviously going to keep going higher, yet stock getting absolutely smoked, obviously going lower. This lunch, to be clear, didn't occur in April or May or June prior to Tesla stock rebounding violently out of nowhere. It's after the massive surge. If I didn't know any better, I'd think that even Morgan Stanley is very smart. Clients are humans. Nothing fundamental has changed at the company recently, but suddenly stock surges and the majority of their clients think the stock's going to keep going higher. Curious. Interestingly, a majority of their investors at this lunch believe the stock will outperform the market through year end. Astonishingly, quote, at the same time, the vast majority of attendees said they did not own Tesla stock in their portfolio in any meaningful size. The question I have is why? Genuinely, by the way. I mean, at no point over the last 12 months with Tesla stock in the high 100s, then the mid 100s, none of them thought, hey, seems like an opportunity here. Apparently not. It's just hard to wrap my head around this, you know? I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I think 10 years from now, every single one of these folks who at this lunch admitted that Tesla wasn't in their portfolio, or at least if it was, it wasn't a meaningful size, will probably look back and go, man, I really wish I had a meaningful position in Tesla 10 years ago. But remember, per the intro here, these are the same people who, generally speaking, are only now just starting to consider the potential for Tesla to be an expression on the AI theme. Just our opinion, but we think this dichotomy of a market that is prepared for the stock to go higher versus having low or no exposure is related to extreme brain damage and... I think I misread that. Hang on, let's try that again. Is related to an acceptance that the stock is being driven by momentum and or factors that cannot be measured with any acceptable accuracy. Ah, yes, there we go. That's the tacit admission. At this point in time, Tesla's robotaxi business is illegal to include in a valuation model if you've grown up following Wall Street conventions, because it doesn't yet exist. And until it actually exists and the first quarterly revenue comes through, you're not allowed to build a model that includes potential revenue estimates, because that will require courage and testicles, neither of which seem to be present among any of these analysts and investors in the institutional world. Doesn't exist yet, not allowed to model it. Why? Well, because that would... I'm scared. Notice the keywords here. Acceptable accuracy. AKA, I'm a gigantic fucking pussy. I'm too scared to try to assess the probability of this thing playing out and what any of the numbers look like until I actually start seeing some real numbers from the thing actually already happening. After which, obviously, investors go, holy shit, this thing's a money printer, load up on the stock and you have a stock surge. So they just ignore it. This is just so fucking weak. The struggling car business, currently 90% of Tesla revenues, can be measured and tracked. The AI, robotics, FSD and robotaxi and much of the energy business is seen as too small to matter or does not produce the same quantum of weekly, monthly information to be tracked and or put in our spreadsheets. This makes it difficult for sausage wallets who lack any courage whatsoever to justify owning the stock in size because they're not allowed to put any numbers in their spreadsheet that involve thinking and anticipation. Therefore, ignore, therefore, valuation doesn't make sense, therefore can't own the stock even though we see robotaxis around the corner, but no revenue yet, therefore must ignore. Here's where things take a very interesting turn. There was one other thing about yesterday's lunch that I actually didn't realize until a client brought it to my attention later that afternoon. The core auto business barely came up at all. For 90 minutes, we talked about energy storage, humanoids, AI, FSD, China, geopolitics, and the robotaxi day. Morgan Stanley putting in parentheses here, invitation still not received. Surprise, surprise. And other topics. The topic of cars was almost completely absent from the discussion. The cognitive dissonance here. They're all talking about stuff like energy, humanoid robots, AI, FSD. They're all talking about this. They spend no time talking about the car business, which is the only thing in the valuation models. That's what we can distill from this conversation and these notes, right? They spend the whole time talking about things in the future that matter massively, but they're still not allowed to put them in their spreadsheet, therefore can't own the stock in a meaningful amount and or at all. This is just so insane. But remember, you must follow the rules. And the rules say business doesn't yet produce revenue, must ignore. Severe storms and unusual global weather phenomenon, including heat waves, may be focusing investor attention on companies that may be well positioned to address climate and energy-related problems. Tesla has long been absent from the broader market discussion about AI for much of this year. Meanwhile, how long have we been discussing Tesla and their AI prowess and leadership? I mean, on this channel now, we're getting close to half a decade. I mean that literally, by the way. It's 2024 now. I launched this channel in November 2019. Tesla is a car company, but in our opinion, trigger alert, it is now just starting to get more institutional investor attention about its other capabilities, including energy, manufacturing, AI, and robotics. Cars are just one of many form factors of embodied AI and robotics. Part of our overweight thesis is our belief that investors will continue to appreciate Tesla's ability to collect monumental amounts of data. By the way, these monumental amounts of data really matter, as I've said, going back nearly half a decade. But you know what? Believe it or not, there is no cell in your Tesla valuation spreadsheet to put monumental amounts of data collection at this point in time, therefore must ignore. That can be used to improve its AI and robotics capabilities. Over time, we see scope for an entirely different industry classification of the company. So good. As it diversifies beyond an auto pure play. Again, welcome to more than half a decade ago, guys. Now, to be clear, Morgan Stanley themselves have been talking about Tesla and AI for a few minutes longer than their clients, apparently. But they do point out something rather interesting. Still today, in the second half of 2024, broadly speaking, in the investment industry, Tesla is still viewed as a, quote, car company, a pure play automotive company and nothing else, which may explain why many of these derps don't own Tesla in any meaningful amount, if at all, in their portfolios. They continue, over which time different types of analysts, i.e. not automotive analysts, may be more dominant in covering the name. Now, they're so on point here in terms of describing reality right now. The vast majority of the so-called analysts covering Tesla are literally automotive analysts. Someone throws them Tesla a few years ago, right? That's a car company, right? Yeah, you can cover them. And these idiots have no idea what they're talking about and completely miss the bigger picture. You've heard the saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, when you're an automotive analyst, Tesla looks like a car company. Lastly, on Tesla's mega factory in Lathrop. The Lathrop factory, which has 40 gigawatt hours of capacity, the equivalent of 10,000 megapacks per year, can produce storage products that could generate profit equivalent to as many as 1 million Tesla vehicles. The Lathrop factory sits just outside of Stockton, in the site of a former JCPenney distribution center. Now check this out. It's around 436,000 square feet. The Lathrop facility compares to the 10 million square foot Giga Texas vehicle factory in Austin. Think about the spatial efficiency of the Megapack factories in terms of the size of the factory, how much physical space, how much land, how big the site is, versus how much revenue and profit the site can produce. Tesla Megapack factories are compact money printers. And just to be really clear, I mean, I know you guys know how to use some numbers, but 436,000, if we increase that 10 times, we're now at 4.36 million, not even half the size. So the Lathrop Megapack factory, less than 5% the size of Giga Texas. Morgan Stanley also point out that they recently increased the value of Tesla Energy to $50 a share, which was $36 previously, while miraculously reducing the value of the core automotive business by almost the exact same amount. That meant that their price target literally didn't change. It's like, how convenient. Investors have taken for granted that the US energy grid will be stable enough to power exponential growth in EV sales. Given increasing demands on the grid from AI, data centers, rising temperatures and stresses from catastrophic weather events, we are increasingly concerned that the grid may be a gating factor for adoption. You know what would be crazy? If a company that was producing electric vehicles that may potentially be gated by energy grid not quite keeping pace was also actually making products that could solve the challenges with the grid, like huge battery storage products. Wouldn't that be a crazy idea? Wait, that's what Tesla's doing. Curious. It's almost like they kind of anticipated this ahead of time. US data center power usage may be equivalent to the power used by 150 million electric cars by 2030. We estimate a typical EV achieves a range efficiency of approximately 4 miles a kilowatt hour by 2030. Most EVs on sale today achieve ranges from the mid-3s to over 4 miles of range per kilowatt hour. Assuming a typical annual passenger vehicle miles traveled figure of 12,000 miles and 4 miles per kilowatt hour implies a typical EV consumes around 3 megawatt hours, 3,000 kilowatt hours, annually. Our clean tech and global sustainability team's forecast of 2027 data center power usage of 337 terawatt hours is equivalent to the usage of 112 million electric vehicles. Extrapolated to 2030 at a 10% compound annual growth rate, an EV equivalent of closer to 150 million electric vehicles. Where's the extra electricity for all that air conditioning going to come from? Good question. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another, 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. There's plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.